Constantine Landry sat alone in a private box fronting the Santa Anita racetrack. One booted foot lazily braced against the partition, an expensive set of Japanese-crafted field glasses resting on the empty seat beside him. He could have been any one of a number of the more affluent racing enthusiasts who occupied the row of private boxes. But his attention wasn't on the results of the second race that were being posted on the lighted board below. Instead, he watched with calculating eyes as a woman with golden brown hair walked quickly along an aisle in the grandstand behind him. She had a very serious expression on her face and was obviously intent on following a flashily dressed man several yards away from her. Might as well make it a parade, Landry thought, as he got to his feet with an easy, coordinated movement. The first strand of the web was waiting to be strung, and unless he missed his guess, it was going to be a very strong anchor thread. Honor Mayfield, it appeared, was headed for trouble. Keeping her out of it would give him exactly the kind of opening he needed. Landry was accustomed to waiting and watching for openings. Trained hunters learned those necessary skills quickly or remained singularly unsuccessful. Landry had been very successful in his profession. He had been dealing with two-legged prey a long time. One brightly dressed, unprotected female who had no idea she was being pursued presented no real problem. What was definitely out of the ordinary was this strange, restless excitement that was suddenly pervading his bloodstream. It wasn't the cool intensity of the hunt as he might have expected. It was a deep, thrumming sense of anticipation. And it was all wrong. He knew instinctively that it was not the right sort of emotion for this kind of thing, but he didn't seem to be able to repress it. The warmth of the Southern California sun beat down on Landry and his quarry with pleasant warmth. Hard to believe it was only January, he thought vaguely. He'd forgotten that on days when the smog factor was low and the California sun was living up to its promise, the towns that sprawled out from the heart of Los Angeles could still remind one of just how beautiful the countryside had once been. The San Gabriel Mountains formed a magnificent backdrop for the picturesque racetrack. If one concentrated on the scenery, one could ignore the huge modern shopping center that in true California style stood nearby. Southern Californians never felt entirely comfortable unless they were close to one of the many luxurious enclosed shopping malls. Landry stalked Honor Mayfield at a discreet distance, questions without clear answers circling in his head as he moved through the crowd. He didn't understand the questions any more than he understood the unexpected sense of anticipation. He knew what he was doing, had planned the contact carefully, so why was he questioning his own motives at this late juncture? Around him, people were hurrying to make their bets on the next race, crowding the aisles en route to the windows where cashiers waited patiently to accept what seemed to be an endless river of money. It was a little difficult keeping Honor in sight without closing in on her. She was only about 5 feet 4 inches tall, easily lost amid the crowd. But the watermelon pink of her shirt helped identify her as she slipped through the crush of bettors. One of the things Conn Landry had learned about her these past few months was that Honor had a passion for brilliantly hued clothes. He'd acquired a variety of such small tidbits of information about her, and he still couldn't quite explain why he found each little detail so fascinating. He increased his pace enough to close some of the distance between himself and his quarry, as she, in turn, hurried after the man in the avant-garde safari suit. Landry knew whom she was following. His name was Granger, and the abundance of rings he wore in addition to his clothes made him an easily recognized figure. Once again, Landry wondered why Honor Mayfield was interested in him. Granger was dangerous. But then, so was Constantine Landry. And as far as Honor Mayfield was concerned, Landry decided objectively, she had more to fear from him than from Granger. She just didn't know it yet. There were a lot of things she didn't know yet, and Landry made a decision. He would not tell her everything until he understood exactly why he was experiencing such a strange sense of ambition.